Hi, I'm Harish Moti. So I'm a chartered accountant, company secretary, and a chartered financial analyst by qualification. So I work with a lot of companies across the world and I expertise in various aspects of finance. And today we're going to explore these aspects which should give you an insight of how to be very successful in your journey and pursuit as a finance professional. So I'm going to be taking you through your journey as a finance professional. What is it going to be all about? So we're going to be talking to you about different aspects of finance. Now, finance for most people starts with accounting. Now, accounting standards, understanding accounting standards is at the core of finance when you actually start with accounting. So what is accounting standards? Accounting standards are the acknowledged, recognized set of principles required when you actually do your basic accounting. So these are the guidance that is provided by the Accounting Standards Board of that particular country, which is the basis of preparing your financial statements. Which comes to your next aspect of your work. So financial statements preparation is a very crucial aspect because those are the numbers, those are the statements that people rely on. And your accounting standard gives a consistent base to help people look at those reported numbers in the right framework to prevent any kind of misrepresentation at the basic level or even fraud at a higher level. So your grasp of financial standards, accounting standards, is the core of your journey when it comes to understanding numbers and the background for understanding numbers. And accounting standards not just guide you in terms of what those numbers and how to get those numbers, they also go beyond that. If you look at a financial statement, they're just not numbers. They have notes to the financial statements, which kind of gives you the basis of how to look at those numbers. There are a lot of circumstances where just reading the numbers does not make sense. For example, there could be a lawsuit a company has filed on your company. And this particular liability that could be a potential liability in the future might not be reflected on the financial statements right today because there's no probability that the lawsuit might be won by that particular party. So these are the kind of risks that are highlighted in the notes to the financial statements. So your grasp and understanding how to read a financial statements actually start with understanding the accounting standard itself, because that actually gives you the understanding of what goes into these financial statements. The whole idea is to represent information that's true, valid, relevant, so that people can understand when they look at this very crucial information on the performance of the company. Now, when you actually understand this, from there comes the most important aspect of actually knowing how to actually audit the statement. So let's take a step back. What does the word audit mean? So audit basically means verification. So when a company prepares its accounts, it's nothing but, if you look at it in a very structured way, it starts with the accountant who is actually inputting these entries. From there, these entries get collated, get summarized when you actually look at the presentation on the financial statements. Now, these statements are prepared in accordance with the accounting standards that we just discussed. The question is, are those numbers that have actually been represented there true and fair? So there's an independent verification that is done to check if these numbers are genuine, are authentic and reliable. This independent verification is what is called as the statutory audit. And the reason it's called the statutory audit is because it is required to be done in accordance with the Companies Act of every country to ensure the data represented is true and fair. So once you master how to audit a financial statement, then comes your understanding of internal audit. In internal audit, people think it's a very financial exercise. It is actually not. Internal audit goes way beyond finance. It goes in understanding the way the organization functions, because the way it functions, the processes that are defined in the organization, helps in actually creating that statement, because that's how the accounting happens, that's how the processes happen. So now, coming to internal audits, that's the next area of work and expertise, because internal audit goes beyond finance. It's a mix of understanding policies, processes, and a little bit of analytics as well. Because in internal audit, you're trying to understand how the company is structured, what kind of policies, what kind of procedures, what kind of governance and strategic mechanisms the organization has created in order to create those financial statements. And once you understand the internal audit framework, you understand how these organizations function, you actually perform these roles, you have a great understanding of how to help an organization be better when it comes to its processes, which help in its sustenance and also growth.